户外热正在撬动中国万亿消费市场，你会向往这种生活方式吗？会花上万元买套户外装备吗？会让某个品牌的价值观为自己代言吗？ lululemon 的创始人 Chip Wilson 一直信奉，品牌是一种价值观的契合，无需取悦每个人。今天，当他不再亲自领导 lululemon， 转而联手安踏收购亚马芬体育，将始祖鸟、萨洛蒙等高端户外品牌收入麾下，他将再次赋予这些品牌独特的吸引力。大家好，我是思琪。今天我们邀请到了 lululemon 的创始人 Chip Wilson 和科特勒咨询公司大中华和新加坡地区的 CEO 曹虎先生。Wilson 刚刚出版了他的新书《lululemon 方法》，从书里我们可以看到他极富预见性地创建了 lululemon 的故事。今天我们就和二位一起来聊一聊当下流行的户外运动生活方式以及运动消费市场的巨大潜力。
Oh, I'd like to say hello to everybody in China. I've been here since 1986. I couldn't be happier. Thanks for tuning in.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy and honored to have the opportunity to talk with Chip Wilson.
Have you observed any changes on Chinese people's daily life clothing style?
As I said, I've been here since 1986, and to see the changes in China and the people has been phenomenal. I mean, even the growth and the height of the Chinese people has been spectacular to watch. And if you look in that, it's, probably diet, but probably, just the way of living. But I'm super excited about how the government is really promoting health and fitness, and actually spectacular what China has done in the Olympics. But I would say that this whole movement towards health, fitness, longevity, a better life. There's no point in living a life unless we're living a healthy life. And nobody like the Chinese have taken that on, I say, especially in the last 10 years.
We can see in your new book, The Story of Lululemon, that by observing one store for just 10 minutes, you can estimate the annual profits and sales. It's like very super talent in this. Could you share some techniques?
I've been able to go into a store, and because I've been working my own retail store since 1979 now. So I maybe subconsciously I know what to look for. So I would look for dust bunnies in the corners. I would like to see how clean the toilets are. I'd like to see where the lighting in the ceiling is showing down in the clothing. And that tells me a little bit about how the management is in the store. And then I would look at the lineups at the cash register or lineups at the change room, and do they have enough change rooms to meet the demand of the people in there? Is the quality of the product, the price of the product, and the location of the store bringing in enough people so that there are no bottlenecks? So I look for the bottlenecks because that also tells me about the sales through the day. And then I look at the interaction between the salespeople and the customer, because that's a key point for me in building a brand for a company, and whether a customer will have a propensity to buy two pieces instead of one piece of clothing. So I put all that together, and then I just seem to be able to come within 5% of what the sales are that day.
Based on your knowledge and experience, what is the main reason, do you think, is for Chip's success and his following succeeding in the sports brands?
Okay, it's a good question. I think, one of the most important character for successful man, the passion to love the world. I think it's if you are lucky enough at your very early, stage, you find what's your talent, what you love. So I think, Chip have this good luck. They find what they love. And keep reading and keep exploring the new world, I think is one of the important lessons, we learn from Chip. And also from more professional perspective, I think the first one is you need to find a niche market. You need to find a white space in the market. But how you can find the white space, a niche, that comes from what you really love, something you really deep dive into, much more than others. So find the niche market, I think, is the first step to make a successful business case. And secondly, I think you should think beyond the functionality of a product. You need to find the essence of your product and the brand. That could be the emotional value. That could be a sense of belonging to a community. Like a Lululemon case, according to my knowledge, that, at the very beginning, Chip created Lululemon not only for a product, but much more for a kind of values, lifestyle, a kind of a better life that Chip want to present to the world.
I know you also predict outdoor activities will be more popular than ever, and now Chinese people's lifestyle had confirmed your point. How do you see the longevity of this trend?
Well, I mean, it could change. I mean, if we looked back, to 1980 when I first started in this business, I mean, I wouldn't have predicted at that time outdoor would be everything to everybody, but I could see that people were smoking, people were drinking a lot, they were working hard, they were going to dinner, their personal lives were a mess, they were getting divorced, they were unhappy, and there was no way out of it. But if I looked at the people who were happy in life and active, and it was because they were outdoors, they were subconsciously doing something like, I'm rejecting this type of life and I'm moving to this type of life.
How do you see the frustration like people usually suffer? Well, like the outdoor sports could be a healing way for them.
Well, there's two things that occur. One is something we call the runner's high, which is after 35 minutes of any kind of endorphin activity, the brain forgets about the past. So it's like we don't have a past. And then because we don't have any experiences of the past, we don't really have a future, so we become present. Mm-hmm. And all life occurs in the present moment, like right here, like right now, this is where life is occurring. It's not occurring when this film shows up on TV sometime later. So I think the act of being present creates a lot of activity, it creates good decisions being made in life. It has people be the life that they want to live now, not sometime in the future.
Great.
I don't know if that comes across to the
live in the nowness. We call it nowness.
Tell me about that.
No.
Yeah, nowist.
Yeah. So that's increasing, popularity. People enjoy the nowness. They don't, because the future is uncertainty. How we know it's a better future, but the only treasure we have is a now. We need to enjoy that.
Probably Buddhist to some extent.
Oh yeah, Buddhist something, yeah.
We know that Arc'teryx opened a very large cultural experience store this year in Shanghai. Yeah. It's called the Arc'teryx Museum.
Yes.
And when I searched the information, this is the world's first Arc'teryx store named as a museum, and also the brand's largest eco-experience flagship store globally. So how do you think this creative idea and concept?
Well, what I like about it is it takes the customer into the real core of why the product is so phenomenal. And if I know why I bought into Arc'teryx and Amers, because Arc'teryx was making a climbing harness. So, and it on the side of a mountain in the middle of a blizzard, you have to have it's a life and death product. So their ability to make this type of product, the detail, the quality control was unbelievable. And then they recognized that they have people in their harness on the side of the mountains in the inclement weather, and they don't have clothing is not appropriate. And it's raining, and it's snowing, and it's sleeting, and so they take the same thinking process they had in the harness to the apparel, the jackets especially. And this created what I call a best in the world product. And it's expensive, but it's expensive because you can last for like 10, 20 years. And so actually it's a very inexpensive product. And I think that the museum is setting that idea for the customer. It's something that that brings the customer along in a journey to understand that this isn't just a product to go, oh, this is a nice logo to be walking across the street. No, it's an indication that I'm attached to a product that's of high quality, that will last forever, that's enduring, and that's the type of person that I am. That's the brand, and that's who I am.
Right. One important way to build a lifestyle brand, I think, is to create content and create, a very impressive experience. So the museum store, like Arc'teryx just opened in Shanghai, it's a wonderful platform, for the create new content for the customer that makes the the brand brand values, the brand philosophy more concrete, more tangible to the customers. Because when people come into the museum store, they will immediately get the feeling, oh, how's the brand values. Secondly, I think the museum store also create a very important content platform that give the stakeholders opportunity to create original brand. Influencer, they write blogs, online. They create short videos. They need original content, so they can come to the museum store, make a short video, make an introduction, tell their personal story, then broadcasting all internet. The third one is a learning hub for the other retail outlets to do better merchandising.
Entire Arc'teryx outfit may cost like 10,000 yuan. So, well, this just belongs to like a niche group of consumers with high purchasing capability.
Well, I think it goes back to what Tiger said about the premium market and the low market. And you have to understand that a company like Arc'teryx isn't native to China. It's native to the mountains on the west coast of Canada, which the climate changes drastically every day. And you can go skiing that day, or you can go kite surfing that day. So how you dress is important, and the importance that people in Western Canada put on activity is far more than they might put on spending money at a restaurant or like the other things that you were talking about earlier, Tiger. So it's where this priority comes from. So for people that live in Western Canada, it's a necessity. It's like getting a car or a cell phone. You have to have it to live the life that you want to live. And because of that, it's developed the quality that then, fortunately, Chinese people I see appreciate the quality of what that's built for. And I think, and can kind of go, well, if I'm going to spend my money somewhere, let's spend it somewhere where it'll last for 10 or 20 years.
There's a growing trend among young people in China that is to avoid consumerism. Will this pose a challenge to like brand marketing?
I think when you are able to take a high-end premium product and split the cost over 10 or 15 years, then it becomes very inexpensive, and it's not consumerism. And let's face it, if you're going to a very cold climate somewhere, or you're going in inclement weather somewhere, or even if you're caught in Shanghai and Beijing in a crazy rain downfall, you want something that's actually going to work. And I think that a functional consumer item is much different than a fashionable fly-by-night.
I don't think Chinese people, especially the young people, they're not buying anymore. So normally in the past, people want to spend the money on the we so-called luxury brand, some status brand that to show their social standards, even though their functionality is quite low. But now people have much more sophisticated on that. They want to reserve money on the daily, high-quality, routine product. For example, like a T-shirt, like a bottle of waters. Something become very generic. Every product have a good quality. We call treasure hunter. They're looking for the best deal. So in that case, they save the money on this part. But they, the saved money, they want to put much more money by premium in, the category that represent what my social standards, what's my real love. We call that category is a high involvement category, like a car, like stylish apparel. For some people, like a Popo Mart, IP doll, it's a high involvement, product because I love that. So summary up, in Chinese market, people is not buying anymore. It's because people, they are trading up, they are trading down in the same times. They're saving money on the trading down category. They spend more money at the trading up premium categories.
I think what I heard in your question and your response is that it's the middle that's going away. The premium and the low, and that's what I heard you say. Yeah.
That people call K-shape. We call K-shape recover. The premium the low price, everyone they get a better result, but the disaster is for the middle. Yes. In the middle of nowhere. Right.
The next question is about the alternative products with lower price, like we can see many pants, yoga pants. Will this have an impact on the original brands?
And definitely, it's always happened in every business where you have competitors move in and they'll take the low price end of it. That's very true. What I've noticed in North America with lululemon, there have been competitors to come in, and even Nike tries to some extent, but you forget about the intangibles, and the intangibles would be like lululemon makes its product out of nylon, not polyester. Well, polyester stinks. It holds its stink, and for me, I think a woman doesn't want that. So yes, a polyester pant is less expensive and can feel really nice, but there's something that a woman wants that's far beyond that. I'd say the second thing is fit. You can talk a woman all day long about price, but if a garment doesn't fit her and make her look and feel great, she won't buy it. You're paying for design, and you're paying for research and development in the fabrics, where a knockoff product doesn't have to do that. So what I'm getting at there is that a product like Lululemon or Arc'teryx, they can outfit like people in the Olympics in the actual sport, and those top 3 people in every sport can see the sport at a different level than everybody else, and they can give feedback to these brands about where the future of the apparel is going, and that then feeds back into the mass product. Even if it's a higher price, 99% of the time it will always be a much better product.
I have a very short answer. The market is very segmented. Which segments are most important to you? Which segments are you want to serve for? So you have to say no to something. Then yes, it's a very powerful answer. Yeah.
That's the strength of a brand.
And we also know that you have a good sense of touching the female customers' preference. I know that 20 years ago, you predict that highly educated women will delay their childbirth, focus more on balancing work and life. You call them supergirl. But today, women's demands are more diverse and have a strong desire of self-awareness and independence. Do you have some new and innovative ideas to satisfy today's female customers?
Well, I might argue with there, and I don't think it has changed, because when I came up with this term Supergirl for this 32-year-old single professional who was healthy, owned a condo, maybe owned a cat, was traveling, was fashionable, that woman didn't even exist yet. Because maybe I was thinking like 10 years out to maybe, instead of starting Lululemon in 1997, it would have been 2007. And so that woman had to kind of grow into that. And if I look at what was really important to them, it is of course the health and the fitness. If they ever did get married, if they ever did have children, they wanted to be super healthy to do it, because now they were waiting longer to do it. So if we can supply products to them that allow them to kind of double up, like clothing where you could work out and then go to coffee and drop the children off, go to work and all this type of thing, and it's antimicrobial, doesn't stink, and looks good, and looks professional both in the studio and on the gym, then this is like an incredible type of product. I would say the one thing that has changed, which is maybe where your question is that in 1998, when I was kind of envisioning this 32-year-old woman, it never occurred to me that it would actually move to 41. I have 3 people in our company right now, 41-year-old woman with children. Now that's another 16 years of highly educated, high income earning women, and that market never existed before. And I think that's really a little bit of the home run which made me successful.
Is that a potential market?
Well, I think it is. I think people haven't really seen a single woman now between 32 and 40 is the new market. But also now that you have a lot of older mothers, and those older mothers with money, they're spending a lot of their money on physical fitness because they've got to keep up with their children. everyone's trying to stay young, everyone's trying to live a longer life, and I think they have the ability to have someone take care of the children so that they can go work out for 2 hours a day and be everything that they want to be, almost pre-children.
We know you're an athlete and then run a company very successfully, even make sports brand as your lifelong career. Do you have any advice and suggestions for these younger entrepreneurs about how to pursue a career like you or how to run a company like you?
Well, I think the first probably challenge any entrepreneur comes out is just starting, just deciding to start. And I personally think you can't start soon enough in life. The minute you have the idea, I think, is to go for it. And if you don't have money, then I would suggest getting 2 friends that can be your co-partners and people who are willing to take very little money, and all of you kind of grow something. And it may not be super successful, but I think in that process you get the muscle of what it is to start something and get it going. It's so difficult, especially those first 3 or 4 years. But then maybe you sell it, maybe you make a little bit of money, but now you have this experience of knowing what it is to do. And I think during that 3, 4, 5, 6 years that you're in your first company is like an MBA or a PhD, so to speak, in business. And then I firmly believe that the world is changing so quickly, and that people who are in their own businesses see the world in a different light, and they see different opportunities. Now, sometimes a company pivots, but maybe you're better off to sell the company, get out of your partnership, grab what little money you have now, and then go, now I can do it better, faster, on my own, because I can make those decisions on my own, and I see this opportunity that nobody else does.
When people emphasize too much about the short-term profit, how can we make companies and the brands committed to long-term goals instead of just pursue efficiency and quick monetization?
Yeah, that's a very smart question. Yeah. I do believe, you're focusing on the, efficiency, not necessarily conflict with your short-term, return, your short-term, the commercialization. I don't think that's, necessarily conflict with each other. I think the real question you need to consider is that your short-term, technical effort, you have to make sure your short-term technical effort in line with your brand goal of building up your long-term, competitive advantage, your essence of a brand, and your core competency. So the real question is how we make short-term profit and the long-term prosperity put together. I think that's a challenge for Chinese entrepreneurs, especially in China. We follow the long-term goals, clearly identify what's our core essence of brand. Why customer buy product from us? It's because of the wonderful experience we create, or it's because we have such a high efficiency operation to get a lower price. Then you should put all your money, all your effort to try to build up that kind of competitive advantage. So I think that's my answer. We have to align short-term and long-term together. Yeah, not to make them conflict.
I like this term by Jeff Bezos. He says, only put your money into what makes your beer taste better.
Oh yeah, that's
And the next question is about the local products going global. We all know Chip, you brought lululemon from Canada to United States and Asia countries. But in China, the dominated products is foreign brands for outdoor products. Do you have any advice for local products in China to going global?
I think it was really important for me to win at home. If I was to talk to an entrepreneur in China with the volume of people that you have here, if you can win here first, get your business model down, get your price, because you can deliver to so many people, your cost of production can drop to such a level that it makes Chinese companies almost at such a competitive advantage when they go into the global world. And I think you only have to look at BYD, the electric company, and how, again, they have the economy of scale has brought prices down. They can go through the rest of the world and wipe out all other electric car companies. And of course, the only thing that stops it is these countries are going to put up big big duties. But that's I'd say win in China, get it down really well, and then go global.
I think the one question you need to think about is how you could take advantage China low cost production and a very highly involved this kind of supply chain become your company global competitive advantage. For example, like the company like TAM, TAM is a social commerce platform. They call the team up, price down. So that's a very classic example. This company take advantage of China huge suppliers, very high efficiency supply chain. This is the advantage. Then he use the advantage, design a very unique business model. They call the team up, pricing down model. They have become the price killer. Yeah, they get a lot of market share. That's one way to take advantage of the low cost production. There's another way. You create a premium brand. You get into the local market. You real feel the local culture, the people need tailor-made product for the local customers. We see like a BYD, you just mentioned. We also see the CATL, C-A-T-L. They make a lithium battery, the power battery, and also we see the Shein, another the platforms. Their success story is different with the TAM. They are get localized. They set up the operation. They set up a research and development, the facility in the local market. They very focus on the local market research. They generated, insight for the local consumer behavior, what the local consumer wants. They don't want to see people see they are a Chinese, nationality, brand. They want to become a global brand. We serve a global, the consumers. We are very local. We are part of you. We belong to you community.
But I think we're quickly moving to a time, maybe 5 years from now, where China will be known from a marketing point of view. I think they already put out great quality, but from a marketing point of view, made in China will have cachet to it, and you'll be able to get more for the product on the international market.